This video will discuss Chapter 7.6, multiplying a polynomial by a monomial. So one key thing to keep in mind here is that we are going to be using a lot of the distributive property as well as multiplying variables and exponents, all that. So basically, if I'm going to take this, which is a monomial, negative 3x squared, I'm going to multiply it to the polynomial, which is inside of the parentheses, 7x squared minus x plus 4. And so if you remember, we're going to end up using the distributive property, which is a property that we're becoming fairly comfortable with at this point. And so remember that when I multiply, if I were to multiply negative 3x squared times 7x squared, and we've done this when we were multiplying monomials, you multiply the numbers, which would give you negative 21, and then when I multiply x squared times x squared, remember I'm going to add the exponents. So this becomes x to the fourth. All right, now when I go negative 3x squared times negative x, remember that there's a negative 1 in front of here. So negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 4. Sorry, what am I talking about? I got the positive part right. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. Probably should use my calculator when I'm doing this stuff. And then x squared times x, remember that there's also a 1 here, so I'm adding the exponents. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then negative x squared times 4, I'm going to multiply the numbers, which is negative 12. And then since this doesn't have a variable, then I keep the x squared. All right, so I'm using distributive property, but the key is, particularly with this first one, so I'm just looking at how I got this. I want to make sure we understand this. This is negative 3x squared times 7x squared, right? That's the first thing I did with distributive property. Remember, I'm multiplying the numbers, and then as I multiply these exponents, because they have the same base, I get to add these exponents, and that's where this negative 21 x to the fourth is coming, and then that's obviously how I got the rest of these. So my final answer would be this. Okay, this I'm just using to help explain for those of you that are confused where that's coming from. Hopefully that'll help a little. All right, so then what happens when you get a combination? We have to kind of do a little simplifying. So the same idea. I'm going to take this, I'm going to multiply it to these two. Remember, this is a negative 5 that I'm multiplying to both of these. 2p times negative 4p squared, this is going to be negative 8p to the third, plus 2p times 5p, this becomes 10, and then I'm adding the exponents of 1 and a 1, this is p squared. Okay, negative 5 times 2p squared, this is minus 10p squared. And then negative 5 times positive 20, this is minus or negative 100. All right, now, as I simplify, I'm looking for combining like terms. I see that the p squareds are alike, so I got 10p squared minus 10p squared, 8 minus 8, 100 minus 100, 10p squared minus 10p squared, all those equal 0, which means that this is going to cancel itself out. So I'm going to be left with negative 8p to the third minus 100. Who would have thought when we started all that, simplifying down to here? All right, now let's talk about another type of problem. Okay, and in this problem, and this is going to be a long one, bear with me. I know, I barely fit it on the slide. Sorry, my handwriting had to get really small. This is 2a times, inside parentheses, 5a minus 2, plus 3a, and then in parentheses, 2a plus 6, and then this is a plus 8 outside, equals a times 4a plus 1, plus 2a times 6a minus 4, plus 50. Now, the biggest difference between this and the problems we were doing in the past is you'll notice these problems did not have an equal sign, right? These are called expressions. And this, because of the equal sign, is an equation, which means we're going to actually get a final answer. In other words, a will equal something. So the question is, what does a equal? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to multiply, right? So the first thing I got to do is get rid of parentheses. So if you think about order of operations, right, that's the first thing we're doing is PEMDAS. So let's hope I can fit all this on. This is going to be 2a times 2a times 5a becomes 10a squared minus 4. It's an A, sorry. 10a squared, I know, I need to just let it go. 10a squared minus 4 plus, this is 3a times 2a, this is plus 6a squared plus 18a, oh sorry, this should be an a, minus 4a, plus 18a plus 8. So worried about writing small that I'm not even thinking about the a. So 2a times 5a, this is the 10a squared minus 4a, 6a squared plus 18a, and then the plus 8 just comes down. Now over here I got 4a squared plus a plus 12a squared minus 8a. I'm going to kind of write onto the side, plus 50. Okay, sorry, I did end up running out of room. So now what I'm going to do is end up, let's just simplify or combine like terms on each side, and then we can deal with the other side. So I'm starting with the a squareds. I got 10a squared, 6a squared, 10a squared plus 6a squared is 16a squared. Okay, and then I've got negative 4a, positive 18a. This is plus 14a. And then the plus 8 is still there. Equals, coming over here with the a squareds, right, I got 4a squared and 12a squared, that's also 16a squared. Now we'll take the a's, a minus 8a, so that's positive a minus 8a, that's minus 7a, and then plus 50. All right, so at this point, what I'm going to end up doing is just kind of trying to isolate the variable, right? I want to get the a by itself. So I'm going to, first thing I'll do is subtract 16a squared from both sides. Okay, and the good news is I haven't yet taught you how to solve a problem when you have a squared, so those two will cancel themselves out. So I'm left with 14a plus 8 equals negative 7a, don't forget that's negative, plus 50. All right, so now, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you could solve this. Some people might subtract 8. What I'll do is I'll add 7a to both sides. Right, this goes away, negative 7a plus positive 7a, so this becomes 21a plus 8 equals 50. All right, I'm going to come back to this one in a second. I know I've been writing really small, so let's start back up top here with the 21a plus 8 equals 50. All right, so I'm just taking that last line, and I'm just going to put the last line down here. All right, so then I would want to subtract 8 from both sides. Cancels out. I'm left with 21a equals 42. Right, and then I'm going to end up dividing both sides by 21. And what do you know? My final answer is a equals 2. So we went all the way from this problem up here on the top, all of that down to a equals 2. Okay, so the key thing here is just kind of, you got to take this thing step by step, right? You got to first distribute, you're going to get it really long, and then what we should be doing is kind of funneling this thing down, and you can see we eventually funnel it down all the way to a equals 2. Okay, if you wanted to check your answer, I could actually take 2 and substitute 2 in every place where I see an a, and then make sure that the left side equals the right side. Most of you probably don't have the patience for that, but that is a way you could check your answer to make sure that it's true. All right, that's all we got for you today on multiplying a polynomial by a monomial. Sorry. Don't forget to do the problems at the bottom of the page. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you in class.